93.8.
Join the conversation.
Hello there, welcome back to your Agenda programme. Just before the break, I promised you that we were going to speak to a grade 12 student who has come up with a possible solution for all the congestion on the roads, because we are discussing school transport on the show today with just days to go until the start of the school term. People are looking for alternatives potentially to school buses. People often find them quite expensive. They're looking for alternatives to the school run, perhaps. They can't do the driving themselves because they have to be at work. And yeah, Anvith has come up with a remarkable solution. So Anvith Yalamanchili has created Community Carpool. It's a free platform designed to help people organise shared journeys. He started it a few months ago. It's still going. I double checked ahead of this interview, and Anvith has joined me in the studio. A pleasure to see you again. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Thank you for having me back.
Well, it's great to have you. And I'm going to go back to why you initially started Community Carpool first, because, yeah, you're a grade 12 student. I imagine you're quite busy with your studies. Why the project?
So at first, it was my brother's commute that I saw had grown up from 15 minutes. It had gone to 35 minutes. And the reason that happened was because there were 3 schools that had opened in the same area. And I also noticed that a lot of the cars were coming from the same communities, and they would have a lot of empty seats. So I realized that carpooling could be a potential solution to reduce the amount of cars on the road and make that driving commute go down as well.
Okay, so brilliant idea. A well-used sort of policy. I mean, obviously, it's sort of there's a legal framework around it in certain states and certain cities in America. You know, you can only go in certain lanes if you have carpooled. How do you structure it? Like, how do people find out about it? You know, how do you work out routes? How do you work out which car to get into?
Yeah. So when I was first starting this project, I was on a lot of WhatsApp groups. So these were like sustainability adjacent WhatsApp groups. And so I had talked about Community Carpool. And so a lot of people from there signed up. And then it was a little bit of word of mouth that it had grown to about 100-ish users in the beginning. And so I was actually doing it manually. I was matching people manually in the beginning. And so that was a lot of work. And so I realized I needed to build a better system. So then I did a relaunch. I had a better system. And then I published in the same WhatsApp groups. And then I also looked at partnerships as well. So there's a partnership with TAS. It's called the Alliance of Sustainable Schools. And so they're a network of about 130-ish schools. And so I reached out to them. And then I've also reached out to DAMAC, which has an interesting story. So that was through one of the WhatsApp groups. It's a ESG group. And so the sustainability manager at DAMAC, he actually reached out to me and he was interested in Community Carpool. And so that was a bit more lucky. I didn't directly reach out to them, but it was sort of what I was putting out sort of came back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's clear that we've seen this organic growth. And one of the reasons why you're getting this organic growth is because the platform itself is very easy to use. Now, you just whisked over it there, but you basically built a website, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a website. So I purposely chose not to make an app just because with apps, you have to download another application, have something that you need to check constantly. So with a website, it's much easier to use. You simply go on it, you sign up, and then all of the communication happens through email. So there's something that's much more simple to use.
How many users do you have at the moment? Because I know it's growing all the time, isn't it?
Yeah. So right now we're closing into 1,000 users. So we're close.
That's so exciting. And which areas of Dubai is it? Do you have carpooling going on?
Yeah, so I've seen it mainly in Arabian ranches, in Sports City. There's like a lot of concentrations around these sort of areas.
And how do you make it safe? Because obviously that's going to be a huge concern when you're connecting people to share cars. You know, how do you make sure that users know who they're traveling with, particularly if they're going to be children ultimately?
Yeah, of course. So it depends on the situation. So if this is a carpooling arrangement that we've partnered with the school, we give the school or the organization a custom link so that only that link will be matched, like the people in that link will be matched with themselves. So it's much safer because nobody else would have access to that. And also we ask parents to verify the other person at like school or at the organization just to make sure that they are who they say they are. And also we have a reporting feature as well, so users users can report someone if they have any issue with them, and then we'll also look into that as well.
But ultimately and rightfully, it falls to a parent to take responsibility
Yes,
for where
yeah.
they're putting their child. How about, I just thought of something else. Oh, how about data protection? Because, of course, if you're putting your data into a system, you might worry about that, particularly because it's going to be your address, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. So we purposely ask that users give us as minimal information as we require. So that would be their first name, that would be their email, which is solely for communication, and then that would be their rough address. So let's say I live in Arabian Ranches, street to Sahil to, and then my villa number. So we ask, don't include your villa number, just say Sahil, like the rough sub-community. So we get a rough idea through there.
And talk to me a little bit more about this sort of relationship with DAMAC Properties. Because they're not a school, are they? They're like the community. Are they looking to encourage it among residents in their community or among staff in their community? What was their vibe?
Yeah, so I've seen that organizations are much more approachable with something like this. And so it was mainly for their staff. So they have about 3,500 employees. So we've decided for the first sort of round is to do it with their staff. And then I'm trying to see if I can expand that towards some of the residential properties. But that is a bit more of a different situation. So I'm looking into that. But it's mainly been with the staff.
I have to say, Amber, I've spoken to adult CEOs who've been doing their job for 40 years who are less impressive than you. And the fact that you seem to have managed to find a sort of solution to, a potential solution to congestion and, such an eco-friendly solution to congestion in grade 12 is extraordinary. How are you managing to run this and grow it alongside your school? I have to admit, what do you do is that A-levels at grade 12? Not yet.
No, I'm an IB student.
You're an IB student.
Yeah,
so is grade 12 the final year at school? I've only
Yes.
It is. Okay,
Yes.
so you're coming up to 18 then.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you you've got exams this year then?
I do. So now I'm not manually matching people. So the system does that for me. So that saved a lot of time. And also I have interns as well. So I have about 10 interns, some in Dubai, but some all over the world, because Community Carpool, there's a small portion in India that are also using it. So it is a more global platform. So I have interns all over the world. And also DAMAC is assisting me with some outreach and stuff like that as well. And so I'm also looking for any interns. So if any students are listening, feel free to reach out to me. Can I say the email?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, so it's partners@communitycarpool.org. So you can just send me an email, and then I can send you some information of how you can help.
I mean, that's the interns, but you must be you've got to get some corporate sponsors soon. Like, people listening to this has got to be one of the most appealing scenarios for companies to get involved with you, because they could save money and potentially do carpooling as well. But also, man, it looks good to be engaged with this type of ESG project.
Yeah, definitely.
So who are you looking for? Who would you like to get on board with you? What would be the dream list? Sorry, I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this question.
Yeah, it would be organizations. So any organization, big or small, feel free to reach out. It's very easy to create a custom link, and so only the employees can use it. And also schools as well. I'm trying to get more schools into the platform, because this started with schools, and so I'm trying to push that more. And then also students, if you're interested in joining the project in any way, even with a small amount of work or a lot of work, feel free to reach out.
Amazing. Where do you want to take it next? Do you think Community Carpool could, eventually be the go-to solution for parents, when they start each school, they automatically sign up to Community Carpool? Could that be one vision?
Yeah, definitely. I want to normalize carpooling and make it more appealing to people, where we're not trying to replace cars. We're trying to make it in the niche situation where there are people that live in the same area and are going to the same school or organization, that they start carpooling, that becomes the default response.
I guess what's amazing as well is that if you meet and hang out with people from your community, then you're also, creating neighborhood bonds as well, which
exactly.
is amazing.
Exactly.
I have to say, Amith, it's interviews like this that make me very pleased that I get to do my job. So thank you very much indeed for joining us on the programme today. I wish you all the luck with it. And I want to stay in touch. Like every time you hit a new goal, get in touch with us and tell us and we'll cover the story again. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, remind me the website.
communitycarpool.org.
Thank you very much. That is Anvith Yalamanchili joining me in the studio. One of the most impressive people I've met for a while.